Hey, welcome to On the Up and Up with Patrick and
Talisha.
And today's episode is all about how to have a healthy sex life in your marriage. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said sex.
See eggs.
Oh my gosh.
On the podcast.
Oh, we're supposed to be a Christian podcast, a Christian marriage podcast. How can we talk about sex?
Oh my gosh, sex in a marriage.
Oh.
Wow.
Here we go. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you guys for listening and downloading to our second First Class Friday episode with Steve Furtick about finding happiness in relationships. I already got a whole bunch of downloads on that. And so if you are new to this show, go back to our Friday episode and listen to that 7-minute clip on really finding happiness in your relationships. It was a really, really good clip. So thank you guys for rocking with us and listening to our episodes. We try to provide the best marriage content available for you guys because we love our listeners and we have the greatest listeners in the world. Now, since y'all are the greatest listeners in the world, I know that you are already following us on our social media channels at Instagram at I am Pat Ratliff and Talisha's Instagram at
The Farm D Mommy.
And our official as a whistle official as a whistle Instagram page at Patrick and Talisha, and liking our Facebook page at Patrick and Talisha, and submitting all marriage questions to our official email at podcast@patrickandtalisha.com. So that's where our shout outs and reviews come from. So if you want a shout out, just hit us up on our social media channels and you will get your name on our internationally recognized podcast. If you want exposure, hit us up on social media and we will broadcast you out to the world. We're on 6 continents.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we're on 6 continents. So who do you got, baby? Who do you got for our shout outs?
All right. Sorry, I was trying to pull mine up while you were talking. All right. So my shout outs go to Amanda, Latifa, Ashley, Ariel, and Shannon.
And mine on social media, I gotta see which page I'm on. See, I'm on this I am Pat Ratliff. I got to go to Patrick and Talisha. And we got Anne-Marie BB, Shannon Eichelberger. Love that girl. Fab Wise, Jan Franklin, Keita Jackson 24, Greenville Training, Woo Baby, Mrs. Mommy Esquire, Trophy Wife 915, Greenville Daily, Farm D Mommy liked it too. See, even our Instagrams follow our Instagrams. You dig? Sir Don, Manny Makes Goals, Laddie Gat, Van Over Terry at Black Walt Disney. Man, thank you guys for the shout outs and following us on our social media channels. And then who we got do we got any reviews?
I think we have a review.
We got a review. Ooh. And E Manny Fresh says, great content. I'll be honest, before listening to On the Up and Up, I definitely wasn't a podcast guy. I probably only listened to a handful before hearing what Pat and Talisha created on their pilot episode. I've got to say now, it's the highlight of my Mondays at work. It's great to hear marriage content that is so real, spiritual, and genuine. I love last week's episode topic about choosing your hard. Simple concept, but very motivational. Keep up the great work. Looking forward to the next episode. And y'all see that? We have turned a non-podcast listener into a podcast believer. Podcasts change lives. And that is why we created this podcast. We're out there changing lives, making people look forward to Mondays. People don't like Mondays, but when we drop on Monday, their Monday is all of a sudden more happier.
More happier.
We make driving to work happier and more glorious.
Yes.
Look.
Thank God it's Monday.
Yeah, if you are not even listening to our podcast when it drops on Monday, what are you doing? You are already setting yourself back on the Monday.
Right. You need this Monday.
You need this on a Monday.
This Monday juice.
Monday juice. Get that Monday juice. And now, does E Manny Fresh follow us on our Instagram?
He does.
Does he follow us does he like our Facebook page?
I believe he does.
Has he left us a 5-star rating and review?
Absolutely.
Oh, you know what that means. It's time to announce our Listener of the Week. And because E Manny Fresh hits all of our criteria, E Manny Fresh, you are on the up and up with Patrick and Talisha's Listener of the week. It's our listener of the week. Listener of the week. We gonna take your pictures and put them on the Instagram and the social media and Facebook. We're about to broadcast to the world how awesome you are. And we have the greatest listeners in the world. The greatest listeners in the world.
Way too much Hamilton.
Way too much Hamilton. Emmanuel.
Woo, baby.
And Liam. The Smith family. Work. Off the dome. Off the dome. You ain't gonna get that nowhere else. You ain't gonna get there anywhere else. If you don't know what that reference is, you better go watch Hamilton, because Hamilton is our life.
Right. We watch it on the daily.
On the daily Disney Plus. You better go hit up that Hamilton. But yes.
So, E-Man is Patrick's lovely LB. Does that sound?
He's not a linebacker. He is my line brother.
LB means line a brother.
Okay. Yes, he is my line brother. He is intense. So
he is Patrick's intense. He is number 10 on their line. And I thank you, Manny Fresh, E-Manny Fresh.
Fresh.
For your great rating. And thank you for allowing us to be able to display your beautiful family to the world.
Yes, man. E-Man, he has just started a photography business, putting out fire pictures out there on the gram. And I just learned that he is a hospital administrator. That means he runs the whole hospital. He runs the whole hospital. He is curing COVID as we speak right now. All right? So he probably like the doctor's bosses telling them, hey, y'all better clean this COVID up.
Yeah.
Because that's what hospital
administrators do.
They did that, yeah. I told you.
I mean, people giving credit to the wrong people.
It's all about the hospital administration. I think you got to get like 5 degrees to be one of them.
Definitely.
I promise you got to be like
real
5.
Smart.
Yeah, got to be real smart to do that. Trust me, believe me, he's the greatest hospital administrator in the world.
That ever
existed ever.
He's
Before
huge.
He-Man was the hospital administrator, the hospital system was the worst ever in the world. But now he's in there. Now it's the greatest hospital system of all time.
Check the stats.
Congratulations, E-Man. You are the listener of the week. Your profile is about to skyrocket now. You're about to make millions. All results are not guaranteed from the podcast of On the Up and Up with Patrick and Talisha. Gotta put that short disclaimer
disclaimer out there.
But you better blow up! So follow E-Man on Instagram at E_MannyFresh, and also his photography business at ES2eyes.photography. All right, baby. So what was on the up and up for you this week, and what was on the down and down? I still hate what's on the down and down.
The down and down.
Just someone said what sucked this week.
The down and down.
So what was on the up and up, boo-boo?
All right, so on the up and up for me, this past Saturday, we did a church picnic at High Falls County Park in Seneca. And everybody, all the families came together, brought their own food. Everybody, not really supposed to share because of COVID, but, we still shared. So everybody brought their food to bring with their family, and then we had, like, kickball and volleyball. I didn't play any of those. I sat down in the chair and watched people. And, it was just a good time to get together with our church family because we haven't really been able to do anything due to COVID. And so it was outdoors. Everybody just had a good time. Some people camped. I tried to get my family to camp, and they were like, nah, we ain't doing it. I even tried to rent us a camper.
I don't want to hang outside. And I'm glad I didn't. By the time that day was over, I was exhausted.
Yeah, but it would have been nice because next year, we gonna do it. We gonna rent a camper, and we're gonna sit out there by the lake, and it's like near Lake Kiowee, right there at Lake Kiowee. Roast marshmallows, make breakfast in the morning. It's gonna be beautiful.
Doesn't sound.
Trust me. So that was definitely my up and up. On the down and down was this past Monday. I got up early and I had all my stuff together, and I was really feeling myself because I had a little meltdown the previous weekend. And so I was like, yes, I got everything together. And I got out of there. I get to work and I look and I have no pump parts, no bottles, no nothing. And mind you, I also needed to kind of pump early that day.
Oh, tell listeners what the heck pump means.
Pump it up. Breastfeeding. So whenever you're not with your baby, you have to pump. You have to use the breast pump to get the milk out.
Yes, to get the milk out.
Yeah. So I had nothing to get the milk out with. So I needed Patrick to help me out. So I sent him this meme. It was like SpongeBob. I'm like, nah. And so I was like, hey, can you bring me my stuff? And I even offered to meet him. And he was like, no, it's good. And I thought that it was really good, but it really wasn't. He was having a rough morning.
Rough morning. Very, very hard morning. And then, I left the pump. She don't commute. The commute's like 40 minutes.
It is close. Not. It's like 30, 35. Okay.
It's a long way out the way. Morning was already crazy, but my baby needed my help. So putting myself aside, got to put the baby first because she would have been in tremendous pain had she not been able to pump all the milk and whatever. But that's just... That's just the strength thing she's been forgetting. She's been forgetting every daggone thing. Boy, she done left. Go ahead, tell her what else you've been forgetting. Go ahead.
At the campground on Saturday, I forgot my phone in the bathroom. We didn't leave, thankfully, because it's like hours and
then you got mad at me and your mom for calling you out
about it.
Oh, yeah,
don't call me out. I already call myself out. I don't need y'all to call me out, too. Thank you very freaking much.
We were like, man, how you forget it in the bathroom? We were like, well, freaking better be glad we didn't get all the way home and I freaking remember.
Yeah, so be thankful. God darn it. Look at the god darn silver linings. Now, I remembered it before we left.
Now, when you mess up, you deserve the attack.
No, you don't. And whenever somebody be like, oh, well, you should have did blah, 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 blah. No crap. If I would have thought about it, I would have done blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I forgot it. And what? Now, what else did I forget?
Did we talk about the keys you left at church?
I left my keys at church. I left my freaking keys at church. Mm-hmm. In the nursery like 2 or 3 Sundays ago.
So you on the street.
So I got ready. And it's always freaking Monday morning. I got ready to leave on that Monday morning. Van would not start because there were no keys to be detected. Yeah. So I had to be like an hour late to work.
Yeah. But you on a great streak of forgetting critical things.
Yeah.
We got to do something about it. But you don't want our suggestions.
But I don't.
You don't want anybody else's suggestions.
Freaking figure it out my goddamn self. Patrick, what was on the up and up for you?
On the up and up for me is our life group. So we have been recently, for the past 3 weeks, Sunday school traditional Sunday school has been replaced by life groups. So what that is like we have a group of 6 people fairly in the same age range, and we're discussing, we're just getting to know each other a lot better in the church. A lot of people just go to church and they don't even really know who their church members are. And our leadership and pastor, they want to take a new direction because once you start growing the church, there's a certain level of growth where it just flat lines, right? It's like, all right, there's nobody. We got the same people coming up to the altar, worshiping, praising over and over and over again. So what is it? What is it? What is it? How can we grow more? Because it's getting stagnant. Growth is stagnant in the church, right? And so there's this program or book about making disciples, because that's what Jesus's directions was to us, was to go out there and make disciples. And if you don't have disciples in your church, that's why people aren't really worshiping. And how do you create that community where people are comfortable to go up there and worship? Even though you're supposed to go up there and worship, it's still awkward for people. Okay, because you have to make yourself vulnerable up there. And like I said, on my journey to Jesus, I was like, oh, if you went up to the altar, that meant something was super wrong with you. And so people will have that perception like, dang, what's going on in their life? That's what I thought people were thinking. When in reality, people aren't really thinking about you. So our leadership and pastor were going in this direction. It was like, hey, let's have little pods of people getting to know each other in our church, because the more they know each other, the more comfortable they will be able to worship in front of each other. And that's what the direction they're going into. So Talisha and I, we signed up and hey, we'll lead a leadership group. And basically what we do, we're reading this book right now, is about making discipleship, making more disciples. And we're leading group discussions, and the discussions have been really good. So we have been longing for that intimacy in church. If you go back to the entanglement episode, what I would say to Talisha was like, well, you get to go see your sister and your mom at church. Like, you got your two best friends at church. I would like to go to church too if I had my two best friends. And in reality, I wasn't putting out any effort whatsoever to try to get to know anybody. Because I just wasn't there spiritually. And for the first time in 34 years, I feel like I'm like a part of like a church, and I actually have to like take action. I'm taking some leadership roles and being responsible and taking my spiritual life in my hand. And that's what's been on the up and up for me.
Absolutely. And I'm so proud of you for really stepping outside of your comfort zone and really trying to make roots.
Yeah. And it's good outside of the key to, I really believe like the key to like growth, success, happiness, fulfillment is getting out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And the book is called Follow to Lead.
Follow to Lead, yeah. And we're seeing amazing results so far. It's only been 3 weeks and I'm like, oh, I've been with these people, rocking with these people for years, and I'm finally getting to know them.
Yeah.
Like getting to know their story, and I'm sharing my story with them as well.
Yep.
So they're getting to know me. The real me. Without hiding.
Yep.
In the dark.
Yeah.
You dig?
And it is freeing to be able to do that.
It's very freeing. It's very freeing. And I was on the down and down, or what freaking sucked. Our baby son, Rowan, has been eating our phone chargers. Okay? He's we got like charging stations. We got 2 on the couch, on each side of the couch, so we can charge our phone. And since they lay on the floor, and he's a crawler, he in that phase now where he everything he sees he wants to pick up and like put in his mouth to eat. So part of that phase in life is just trying to keep your kid alive so he don't swallow like some quarters and stuff.
Right.
And like just keep him alive so he doesn't swallow something and choke. But he has had, for the longest, he's had this fascination with cable wires or like charging wires, and he likes to eat the charger, but he gets the end part of the iPhone charger and he's bent them. And once they have been bent, because he bites them, they stop working. So I'm sitting here going to charge my daggone phone on the couch, about to go watch football yesterday, and daggone thing ain't charging. Yeah. And then I look at it, I examine it, and I was like, he done bit the freaking metal piece that charges the phone. And I just bought these chargers.
Yeah, they're brand new.
They're like a little rat on the ground eating the wires in your house. That's what it's like. Little rodent.
Rodent row.
Freaking rodent row on here eating my chargers. So I'm gonna have to like buy some more because we got to have the chargers.
I know, and then I'm glad we didn't buy the Apple chargers because we were gonna buy like the legit ones.
The legit ones,
but we got Amazon ones.
Yeah,
thank God. Yeah. We not in the place in our life where we can have real Apple chargers.
Even though they are, we got those in the car. They can't buy. They can't get to them in the car.
Yeah.
Because when you on that car and you charge it up and you got to commute, that thing charges fast. I'm like, yes,
right,
hallelujah. But yeah, can't put them in the house because these rats will freaking eat them up.
Rats for kids.
Rats for kids. So for my Bible recap, I'm in Deuteronomy. I just finished chapter 27 in Deuteronomy. And as far as like my chronological Bible reading plan, I am on day 78. So we're in Deuteronomy right now. It's not that exciting, but quick recap. So Moses is here talking to the new generation of Israelites because the old generation has died out, or if they're not dead yet, the rest of them are about to die because they screwed up what God told them to do. So he said, y'all ain't getting in the promised land. Y'all screwed up way too bad. And that included Moses. So Moses, you can't go there either because you're part of that first generation. So when God say he about to do something, that includes all of y'all. You just got to accept his plan and his will. So Moses is doing his part, names his successor Joshua. But he's telling all the laws and the rules to the new generation. I mean, they're telling laws about divorce, telling laws about murder, homicide, how you get judged. Did I say divorce? Oh yeah, like they talk about like sexual assault, what happens to the women, like what happens to your servants, and all this other jazz. Like he giving them the new rules so they enter the promised land. And Moses is like, now I know they're gonna screw it up. Now look, I'm telling you the rules. I know you're gonna screw it up because you're human and you're flawed. But and we know for foreshadowing that they will screw it up. Right. All right. And but Moses is just telling the new generation that, hey, we about to enter this place. He gives them laws on like warfare, what you can and cannot do. And like, hey, everyone gotta fall. it's kind of brutal, but hey, it's God's law. It's like, hey, that's the law. We don't have to live by the law anymore because of Jesus. That's the cool thing about it. But back then, before Jesus, that was the law, and you followed the law. And if you didn't follow the law, you was probably gonna die. More than likely, you was gonna die. And and the beautiful thing about God was like He didn't want any poor people in the community. So it's like, hey, that's what tithes came from. Like there shouldn't be poor people in your community. You got to take care of your folks. You got to take care of your people, the widows, the foster kid or the kids without parents or anything, the sickly, the elderly. Like He wanted a community of people. And Jewish people are like that today. To this day, they take care of their people, man. Yeah. Like that lesson has followed them throughout all these generations. Like Jewish people, they take care of their community. They bless them. And we got to do that too.
Especially black people.
My black people. But that was established by God, man. Mm-hmm. It's like people out here like, okay, everyone can't pull themselves up by their bootstrap. All right? You got to take the people who are more fortunate financially. Doesn't mean that you're blessed more than other people just because you got financial wealth, but you got to use that to bring other people up. Like, you got to get rid of that scarcity mentality, man. God definitely made enough for everybody. And when you out here being selfish and crap, like that ain't what God wants. Like He made specific rules for that. And it's in the Old Testament in Deuteronomy. So that's what I'm learning. That's what I love about God. Like He is where the joy is at. You dig? And got my Bible recap. That's a good podcast to listen to too. Shout out to Bible recap. And yeah, that's what I've been learning about God. And it's day 78. We almost on to Joshua where we get some more stories and stuff because I'm kind of tired of the laws and stuff. I'm ready to get on to these stories and get back to this war. All right, so let's get to talking about this sex. We are a marriage podcast, and we're about 16 episodes in. We ain't talked about doing the doing the hippity dippity, the horizontal polka. All right, we ain't talked about it yet. So how can you have a marriage podcast? Sex is a pretty important part to the marriage, would you say?
I would say, yeah.
It's pretty critical, right?
Very much so.
It ain't everything, but it's pretty up there with oxygen, buddy, to the marriage, right? It might be the oxygen to the marriage. Is it the oxygen?
Is it the oxygen?
Or is it the blood? It's something. It's one of them important things. Without it, it might not be the oxygen,
no,
but it might be. It might be the lungs. It might.
It's the lungs.
Hey, you need them lungs to breathe the oxygen, buddy. Because the lungs go, you run out of breath. So can you live without sex?
Let's say that sex is like H2O. It's the hydrogen.
Oh, and the two oxygens. Okay, they make up the water.
It's two hydrogens and one oxygen.
Whatever. They always messed it up.
H2O.
H2O. I guess. All right. Enough of that. Now, it's pretty daggum important.
It's the hydrogen.
Yeah, it is important. But if you make it the most important thing, I think you miss out on some great opportunities. Well, I don't think you can fully reach the potential of your marriage, but it is important. That's why God created it, and He made it to be very critical to the marriage. And He created the boundaries and the rules and the guidelines and the guardrails so that you can enjoy sex within the confines of a marriage.
Right.
Because it's like fire. Marriage is like fire. It can warm you. It can provide like comfort and warmth and keep you safe from the outside world, but it can also destroy
and burn you.
It can destroy and burn you up, buddy, if it's not used correctly. So
right.
That's why God created it. That's why He created marriage. It's like, hey, if you use it appropriately, fire can be very beneficial to you. But if you don't use it appropriately, it can be destructive.
I like that.
So let's start it from the beginning. All of our views of sex usually come from a child. I know I was talking about sex when I was like 5. To my understanding, is when a man and woman got naked and they kissed each other.
Right. But who are you talking about sex to when you were 5?
My little cousin.
What?
Yeah, I was like, hey, you gonna have sex with your girlfriend? Oh, we had girlfriends.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and my
okay.
aunts heard it and they laughed. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's talking about it. Oh yeah, kids know.
Yeah.
At a very, very early age what sex is, because you got the TV on, they hear all your conversations. They might have heard you, okay? So kids know at a very, very early age. So,
but it's also innate. Like, it's just, it's natural.
Yeah.
Like, Weston freaking was trying to hump stuff at 1.
Yeah.
He ain't never seen us do anything.
Nope. They just horny little 1-year-old.
Yeah. Like, shoot, it's just innate.
Yeah, it's very natural. And so, but I think the way that you do grow up does influence like your views on sex and just like society in general. I mean, it's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of noise. What about you?
So I remember whenever it was time to like take sex ed, and so like, okay, so I don't know if you did this, but we all went to Roper Mountain Science Center and we kind of started our sex ed talk there in elementary school, like 4th, 5th grade. And then in 6th grade, in middle school, then you have like sex ed and it's like 2 weeks or a week, something like that. Shoot, my parents, they signed that good old permission slip to take me out of that class.
Why'd they do that?
My daddy was like, nope, sex ed, nope, not happening. So I had to go sit in ISS where everybody else was learning about their body.
What's ISS?
In-school suspension.
Oh, okay.
Had to sit in school suspension, not because I was bad, but because I wasn't going to be taught what everybody else was being taught. So I remember that 2 years in a row I didn't get to go hear sex ed. I think I went in 8th grade, but it wasn't even, when I went, it wasn't even like what I expected it to be. It was really more like, all right, ladies, let's talk about your menstrual cycle and what does that mean? And that means that you can have a baby now and things like that. But that was kind of it.
Yeah.
But my dad did freaking make me do a whole goddamn presentation when I got my period on what is a menstrual cycle and what does it mean and how do you take care of yourself now and da 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 da. That was wrong. I had to do it. Everyone freaking had to do it. They made me do it, and it was freaking stupid. But it was good. In retrospect, it was good.
Yeah. The way I grew up, my parents didn't talk about it. So I got in 3rd grade. I was 8 years old, and I got in trouble for talking about sex. I don't even want to tell this story. Oh my gosh.
What?
So there's like 2 nerds in our class, right? And they're kind of like, they're real nerdy. And we were like making fun of them. And I said, they probably have sex with each other too.
What the heck?
And a girl told on me, man. And she told the teacher, and the teacher was like, how do you even know to talk about this? Do you even know what that is? I was like, no. I lied. I was like, no, I don't know what that is. I was like, I'm gonna have to call your parents about this. She gave me a choice. She was like, do you want me to call your parents and tell them about this? Or do you want to tell them? Of course, I said, I'm gonna tell them. I ain't about to have you tell them.
Did you have to tell them in front of her?
Heck no. I went home and was like, hey, Mom, what's sex? And so my mom, she finessed this question very, very well because I guess she did not want to discuss it. So she said, hey, sex is, all right, if you're a boy, your sex is a male. And if you're a girl, your sex is a female. So that's what sex is. Sex is your gender. All right. So that's what and then I went in that Monday and told the teacher, hey, I know what sex is now.
Yeah, your mom finessed the heck
She
out of that.
finessed the heck out of that. She's like, oh, heck no, I'm not having this conversation.
But now, like, thinking about being a parent, if your 3rd grader came home and said that, what would your response be?
I don't know. And I won't cross that bridge till I get to it.
No, right now we have good old tots. Tots.
Yeah. No, the storks. The storks.
Transportation service. Yeah, the storks bringing the babies.
The storks bring the babies, all right? Doggone right. But yeah, my parents, I mean, I never had a sit down conversation about what sex actually was. I just remember one of my cousins, she got pregnant when she was 17. And my dad was like, hey, if you get a girl pregnant, we will be very, very, very disappointed in you. So that was my goal, was to not get a girl pregnant, even though I haven't kissed a girl or done anything. But that was the goal. So, because pretty much if you got pregnant before you like graduated, it's pretty much game over. So we thought. Yeah. I was like, I ain't doing that. So yeah. So it's pretty much fear based, and so I got all my lessons from porn.
Elaborate.
You start watching porn at like 12 years old. I mean, my friend's dad had Hustler magazines, and we would look at those, and they were just around the house. And then the internet was, we had the internet like, when we had the internet? We got the internet in like 98, but I didn't really start, you didn't start looking, you go sex.com, and it'd be like all slow and stuff because you had dial up and stuff. But I mean, obviously, like dudes are like, boys are dang sure curious, and we like try to find like Playboy magazines and stuff like that.
But how did y'all find it? Like, it was just laying around?
People, man, someone was like, oh, we went in the woods on the bike trail and there were some Playboy magazines out there. People just go look at them. Your dad's got them.
Yeah, but you thought, like, you found your dad's?
No, not my dad's. My friend's dad's had the Hustlers. He had the hardcore ones.
But he like just had them like out.
Not out. Obviously, the kids. My friend went go looking for them, and he was like, "Hey, ain't no one in the house. Let's look at these magazines, buddy."
Oh, I got you.
So yeah, so that's what I mean. That's what you look at, and that's what we was like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, so it's very, very visual.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, they sure ain't talk about it in church. I ain't never not heard not one sexual discussion in church. Well, like I said, my job, don't get them pregnant. Cool.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you. I ain't never heard no sex talk in church.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Yeah.
Other than to say it's bad if you're not married.
Yeah.
You hear that.
Yeah, don't do it before marriage.
But that's kind of it. And then, like, I guess I don't really think that the like purity rings or chastity rings and stuff like that, I don't think that was really all that popular of a thing to do necessarily whenever we were growing up.
What's that?
But it's like, well, my understanding of it is whenever you get these little rings and you wear it on your ring finger, decide that you're gonna pledge to abstain from sex until marriage.
Oh, okay.
And so I know that those were kind of popular, like maybe, I don't know, 5 years or so after I was in the youth group and stuff like that. Like I saw people wearing them in like middle school and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was, nope. I don't think. That's a lot of pressure, especially for girls, because I'm trying. When you get them feelings, you want the boys. The boys want the girls that's gonna be putting out, buddy.
Yeah, I guess
it's just the pressure. It's the pressure.
Yeah,
you guess.
I mean, I don't know, because I guess as a girl too, like you don't necessarily, if that's something that's like been taught to you, like no. Like for me, I also had some older cousins, right? So I had some older guy cousins, and they told me, like, I was in middle school, and they were like, look, dude's gonna try to get with you, they're gonna try to talk to you, and I like, don't do it. The girls that I love are the girls that would be like, nah, swerve, nope, not doing it. And the girls that just give it up easy, those are not the girls that I like. Now I'm gonna go with them, absolutely.
Exactly.
But those ain't the girls that I like. Mm-hmm. So don't be that girl.
Yeah.
And so like that's just all. I don't know. That was always kind of in my head. Like, okay, my cousins, Shad and Ish, were like, nope. I distinctly remember when we were sitting at Johnny Rockets in Greenville, and we were having this whole conversation about, like, don't be that girl. Like, the guys will freaking love you if you're not that girl.
Mm.
So it was just kind of like my little mantra.
Yeah. Is that fair
Is it fair
to the girls?
To the girls
With
who...
the double standard. Talk about the double standard.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a double standard. But I also think that because I wasn't that girl, I kind of judged that girl, too.
Slut shaming.
Yeah. Like, obviously not to her face, because I wasn't that big of a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely like, that girl, she is hot to trot type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in TV, of course, that's like the desirable person. So also kind of hating, like slut shaming and hating at the same time.
Right. It's like, oh man, they're free. They can do whatever they want, and they still alive. They still kicking. There ain't nothing bad happening to them. They all right. Shoot, and it looks like they're having a great freaking time.
Yeah. And I think that, like, in my experience, those are also the girls that, like, got to go to the different parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, their parents might let them go to a teen club and things like that. Like, those are just things that my parents were like, yeah, no, you can't do it.
No, y'all was in church 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so accurate.
Absolutely.
Shut the heck up.
Y'all did? Shoot, y'all went to church. Like, dang, I'm going to church again? Oh, we're going to church. What you doing this Friday? Going to church. What you doing on Wednesday? Going to church. What you doing on Monday? Going to church. What you doing on Sunday? Going to church.
Whatever.
To church, to church, to church.
Anyways, so what did you think about the girls who were... But also, did these girls have a name for themselves? Like, did the guys talk about them and say, oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know the ones who were, like, having sex, but apparently, if you were an educator or, like, a middle school educator, you know, like, they're having sex in, like, middle school and stuff. In middle school, that was not a goal of mine. I'm like, really? And that wasn't really discussed in middle school. I was like, God darn, that's too young. I'm like, what the heck do you find the time? Well, you definitely find the time because if your parents don't get home till 5 o'clock and you ride the bus home with other certain like kids, you hang out, and that's when I guess they do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And if they got older brothers and sisters, and they got condoms and stuff.
Yeah, and I remember when I did get to ride the bus for a little bit of time, like, I remember this one girl, she used to wear thongs, and she would try to, like, have her thong, like, sticking out of her jeans, and then some days, different guys would get off the bus with her, and everybody would be like, I get it, and it was kind of a big deal, and the bus driver was so judgmental. She was like, I see you getting off and it ain't just stop. But you get off anyway since y'all think you're grown.
But yeah, middle school, nah, man. But middle school, that's when you first start to, sexual terms. I can't stand technical sexual terms like masturbation. I prefer jerking off, okay? I don't do, I started masturbating at 12. No, I started jerking off at 12, okay? And then it was on since then, buddy. It's been on since then, buddy. It just one summer it clicked, and I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot stop touching it.
Right.
I cannot stop touching my Peter. Oh, something came out of my Peter. I hope that's not pee. I hope I didn't just pee on myself. And I looked down. Oh, that's what I seen in the magazine or the tape. I saw my first video when I was in 8th grade. Yes.
How'd you see that?
Oh, my friend had one at his house.
Oh.
And he let me borrow it.
Oh.
Yes.
And how were you able to watch that without anyone knowing?
Oh, my parents slept downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a room upstairs, a big room upstairs to myself. And then it was just me and that tape for a long, 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 long time.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how but that's how I got introduced to it. I was like, oh, so I think this is what sex is.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's what I got. And then like I said, the internet, and then it was like boom, it was like that's all I see. That's what I thought it was about. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got my view on how you were supposed to do the sex. Do you want to make sex with me?
Do the sex.
Do you want to make sex with me? So that's how I got it. That's how I did it, man. Yeah. But that was, I mean, then the guys would be like, oh yeah, do you got a porn tape? Yeah, I got a porn tape. All right, let's trade. All right.
Oh.
Because you get tired of seeing that other one. It's like, all right, let's trade some. All right, cool, let's trade. So you just start trading them.
Oh, yeah. See, for girls, well, I can't see for all girls. For me and my friends, we never talk about no darn porn. Like,
yeah.
That wasn't a thing for girls. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. So what did y'all do?
Like, nothing.
Nothing.
Talk about Brandy and Monica songs and be like, oh my goodness, I would love someone to say, have you ever loved someone so much it makes you cry? Like, oh, that I would love for someone to sing this song to me about me. Like, think about those, or think about like Genuine, or like think about all the songs and be like, I would like for someone to sing that song to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't trading porn videos.
Yeah.
Like,
boy, I mean, I'm trying to tell you, like, horn dogs, dog. Those hormones just go jump out the window.
Yeah.
But it's okay for us to be like that. Society makes that okay. It's perfectly okay for us to be like that.
Yeah.
And be savage like and talk about it, and you will get patted on the back if you do have sex at an early age. Like, hey, good job, buddy. Just don't get them pregnant and be a deadbeat dad. All right? Don't let it ruin your life.
Yeah. No, yeah, there's definitely a double standard for sure. Like I said, I mean, listening to songs. I got a note from a boy. Oh my goodness, this is great. Oh, he asked me for a hug in the hallway.
Yeah, I did like giving hugs.
Like, like that was kind of the extent though.
Yep.
And then we started dating when I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, nobody was giving me any more hugs in the hallway because we didn't go to the same school.
Yeah.
So we would write each other notes and we would trade them at like a football game.
Yeah, it'd be so long.
It would be like,
for 1800. Hey, y'all, I've written this letter.
I have 5 of them to hand to you at the same time.
And it will get to you in the next week or so.
Right. Yeah.
Even though we talked on the phone every single day, it was like, hey, but I did write a note because it would make us feel like the other kids in school who had a boyfriend or something. Oh, they got a note, so you want to write a note. I don't think I took them to school though.
Right.
I just kept them. I still got them.
I know.
I still got them.
And like spray them with perfume. I remember when you would come over and like before a football game and I'd wear your jersey and it smelled like Curve cologne.
All right, we gotta get back to sex. Okay.
Okay. All
right,
sorry,
get back to sex. You went down memory lane. That ain't got nothing to do with how to have healthy sex life in marriage. Okay. All right, so growing up, that's how I grew up. That's how I learned about sex. It was porn, magazines. Started like jerking off at 12, and I've been doing that for the last 20 something years. So that's when I've discovered my sexuality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you think that your feelings towards sex will affect your sex life?
Yeah, so I've always had like positive feelings towards sex because I've never been like shamed into being sexual. I never had to be afraid of it, and everyone knew I wasn't no hoe. I've been with my girlfriend for years until we got married, and we had that one special night where we consummated the marriage after I woke you up from our wedding. After I woke you up. And so, but my feelings towards sex, they've always been positive. I've always had like the high drive for sex, fortunately. But I've seen like cases where dudes who have been addicted to porn, who have just been rubbing them out constantly nonstop, and they can't like get erect anymore because they're so numb and their brain is just so numb, where it's the only thing that they can use to like get it up. But that was never the case for me. But my feeling towards sex is like, I love this. This is so much better if it was around all the time. But like you said, my hand's always around.
Yeah.
But I much rather prefer sex. I love sex, But when it comes to like getting the schedules and stuff, but yeah, I mean, I think my feelings towards sex have had a great impact on my sex life because I love sex.
Well, yeah, and I love sex too. However, I think that what you were about to say is what I had told you. I was like, speaking for a wife, it's like, okay, well, first of all, I can't compete with porn. Second of all, I can't compete with your hand. You and your hand are best friends and y'all go together like peanut butter and jelly and y'all are with each other every day, all day, forever and ever and ever. Amen. Like, I gotta go a different way from you sometimes. So I can't compete with that.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking from a wife, it's like, yeah, I have positive feelings towards it. However, when you think about like porn and stuff like that, you like, that's not, I'm not a porn star.
Right.
And whenever you think about porn, it makes you think, okay, well, what's the why behind it? Why are you looking at it?
Mm-hmm.
If you are in a marriage,
mm-hmm.
like, why are you looking at it? Am I not enough?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of gets into the female psyche of, if it's the husband looking at it and the wife is not.
Absolutely.
Why are you looking at, am I not enough? Oh, well, I don't look like them. I'm not the same size as them.
Mm-hmm.
So then it brings up some body image issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the same size as them. Oh, my boobs don't look like theirs. My butt's not big as theirs. Like I cannot be on the stripper pole.
Absolutely.
I am not athletically inclined that way. Just things like that. It makes you think like, okay, well, if I can't do those things and that's what what the wife perceives,
the wife.
You're attracted to, then what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. And to explain that, it's like it's just a brain function. It's like I just got to do this to like speed up the ejaculation. Like the goal is the orgasm. You just use porn to get there faster. Like if you were here, I'd use you, but you gotta use whatever you want. And then if you've been doing it for such a long time, it becomes like a stress relief. Or dudes just do it because they're just sitting in the house bored. It's like, oh, I'm bored. What am I gonna do? Oh, let's go get the big O right quick. Oh, turn on the porn right there. It has nothing to do because like you do it as like coping mechanism for stress, but like stress has nothing to do. Stress isn't sexual. You just so accustomed to doing it for over the course of that long time. Like it becomes like your brain's like, this is what I need. It becomes so habitual in your mind. Like this is what I need to do. And you don't like, I don't care about that porn star. It's like, I'm not a super fan. You ain't spending money on it. It's like shit is.
I mean, some people probably are.
He's like, some people do. Some people end up going down that road because they need another fix.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, that's what I just do so I can get that sense of relief. But what it does, it ends up damaging your intimacy. And that's what it ends up doing over the long term. That's why I was like, I got to stop this. It's going to kill the intimacy. What?
What do you mean it kills your intimacy?
It'll kill the intimacy because you're just like doing it just for like the pure physical sense. And like I said, you're just like using your like, oh, you're just using me for your like release and not actually like doing what sex was supposed to be created for in the first place, which is like renewing the covenant of your marriage and keeping you guys closer. It becomes like purely physical and purely like that thing to what is it, that hit to your brain to like, all right, that's accomplished and it's done. That's why it's like you have sex, all right, you roll out of bed, you're done. Mm-hmm. Instead of like just sitting there looking at each other and stuff. It's like it's more of a sigh of relief as opposed to like enjoying the moment and stuff like that. It's like you're just not using your sexual energy correctly.
Yeah. And then what about like exclusivity? So in the First Class Friday that we talked about this past Friday, he talked about having sex exclusively for the marriage. Mm-hmm. So do you feel like if porn is involved, is that breaking that covenant of exclusivity?
It's not good. It's probably breaking the covenant. Definitely probably shouldn't have porn in your marriage. Definitely not. Definitely not. So you got to find a different way to like cope with your stress or your boredom or your overwhelm with how you feel. But like I said, when you've been doing it since 12 years old, I think about like a smoker who's been smoking since they were 12 or something like that. They can't just, they do it because they're now, as opposed to like whatever they were doing it for like social reasons. to be cool to fit in. Now it's become their stress reliever. That's why when you see them workers at work, they just go out there just to go smoke the cigarette, not because it feels good, it's because it's just now one with my brain now. Mm-hmm. It's one with my brain, so I just gotta go. Are there certain triggers that trigger them to go out there and have that smoke break?
Yeah.
So it's not even to the point like what you did it for initially is not. It becomes a part of you, and you just can't you can't shake it until you get like some outside help and some stuff like that, or you realize the like damage that is done to your life. You're like, man, I don't want this anymore. It's like you can't get anything done.
Yeah.
And so you're like, all right, this got to stop. Got to find a way to kick that.
So, like, what do you think the connotation of like porn is?
I don't even know. First, what's connotation mean?
So, so like, what feelings do you think? Do you think it has positive feelings or negative feelings? Like, whenever the word porn is brought up,
depends. It's not good, but I remember my behavioral doctor telling me when I was getting my ADHD like treatment, it's like, hey, always think with your big brain, your head, and not your little brain. Your little brain, which is I can use the technical penis. It has a brain of its own. It really does. Like I told you, you be in church and that thing just be like boing, and you gotta hide your little boner in your khaki pants. And it's like it just has a thing of its own. It's like wired, and so like this, like watching the porn, it'll wire your brain. Like your brain, there is like this website called Your Brain on Porn. It helps you understand like your brain, like it wires it. Well, when you see that, your thing's just like boom. Mm-hmm. It's like the hormones. They're crazy hormones. It's not even like a feeling. It's just like I want to do this. It's an addiction. It's just like getting addicted to anything else. And it's like, what's like the feelings associated with like alcoholism? It's like, I don't want to drink it. My brain needs it now. Mm. Like you become dependent on it.
Yeah. And then like with other drugs, like you can become tolerant.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And so
you need something stronger.
And
that's why, and then that's how you go down that dark hole of porn. Yeah. That's how you
like what do you mean? What's the dark hole of porn?
The dark hole of porn.
What does that mean?
It's dark hole. We're like the BDSM, like the 50 Shades of Grey and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I got you.
And the toys and the weapons and and the torture porn.
Right.
That's where you keep going. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. So
this is fun.
This is fun. So what do you think about like if someone is watching? Sorry, I had to adjust my baby. What do you think about if like someone's watching porn and their spouse is not, and then they start saying like, "Oh, well, you should do this," or "What do you think about you should do this?" How do you think that would make the spouse respond?
Depends if they up for the challenge or not. I think you should try anything. You should try anything. But it's like, oh, he got that. He got that from.
From you should try this, or is it stemming from? I want you to do what I just saw.
What I just saw and see if that's gonna work. First of all, if you try that, is unless you're like super athletic or something like that, it ain't gonna work. It don't.
Pinterest fail.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be like you think that's gonna feel good. Like you got to understand, it's not real. And why, like, porn is just like for camera angles and stuff like that. It's like if you try that in real life, it's probably not going to be pleasurable for either one of you. So that's why I was like, you don't want to do that. But as a teenager, you're like, that's what sex is. If I'm not swinging from the chandeliers and doing all this stuff, like right. Some girls like to get picked up. Dudes, you try to pick them up. You get about 2 hits in, and I gotta put you down, buddy. Or y'all gonna fall and someone's gonna get seriously injured. All right, you can try that stuff if you want to, but that stuff is like they're professionals at doing that. All right, and it's like one take. You think it's like, oh yeah, they've probably been doing that all freaking day. It ain't gonna work. It's not going to work. It's not real, and that's what you gotta like learn to like disassociate. Was like, nah, that's why you gotta cut it out.
Right.
That's why you gotta cut it out your life, because I was like, that's not real. It's not meant to be like that. That is not what it was created for. It's not good. It is not good. You're going to ruin any like chance of having and really enjoying what sex was created for.
So you said that you had been watching porn since you were 12 years old. And so for years and years and years. So what stopped the cycle?
Just knowing that it hurts you.
Mm.
So if I was, it hurts my wife. All right. No. Even though you've watched porn before.
With you?
And also it's like if you have that thought in the back of your head that you're always comparing yourself to a porn star, which you don't freaking like, then you're not going to bring out the full potential of your powers, which I like when you bring the full potential of your powers out. So I don't want it lurking in the back of your head. There's no competition, baby. Yeah, and and like I said, it will ruin the long-term intimacy that we have.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And I do think that, especially being a wife who is now a mother of two, like, you don't look like you used to look back in the day. And so, like, just thinking, okay, so what's really going on in his head? Mm-hmm. Is it like, dang, that girl got them stretchies?
Yeah,
I know you said on another podcast you like my stretchies, but I'm just saying, it still makes you self-conscious because you got stretchies and you got a mom pouch and things jiggle that ain't supposed to jiggle. And this is it's in your head. It's definitely in your head, but whenever you think about like, well, what is he even watching? I don't know. Shoot, I don't freaking know.
Oh, you know.
What do you mean I know?
The moms I would like to friend.
Oh. Yeah, but they're probably skinny mamas.
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm. There's a category. Look here. There's enough out there for everything, whatever that you are into or whatever you developed or whatever.
Yeah, so. But still, as a wife, you're not there with them, so you're going to have your own assumptions, right? So if you have your own assumptions, you're going to have whatever you have in your head. Might be right, it might be wrong, but it's still going to be your assumption of what's going on.
But see, what I think about is like if we weren't having sex like frequently, it's like why aren't we having sex frequently? Like you never seen a dip, did you?
Seen a dip,
and like me wanting you?
No,
ever. Even when you're like, I just had a baby or I just got this C-section scar. It's hot. Oh, that's hot. That's what Daddy likes right there.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You haven't seen the dip.
No.
But that's like I said, some dudes like that's not always the case. Like there's a dip. Like I said, if you keep going down that hole, it's gonna be your brain's gonna get to a point where I can't do anything. It won't come up unless this happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't have it get to that point because then you get like ED or erectile dysfunction. That's a scientific term that I can say.
Yes, erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, and I don't want erectile dysfunction.
Oh yeah, and as a pharmacist, like I know I used to see patients who were not in the age bracket to need any medication to assist them in that. Yeah. And then I remember even having to counsel someone on, like it does not replace desire. So it only helps if your hardware does not work. But it does not help with your desire being there. Yeah. Like if you don't have the desire or, maybe if you are desensitized because of things that you have seen and now you're not seeing like Viagra, Cialis, that's not gonna fix it for you.
Yeah, I've never lost desire.
No, you never lost desire or anything like that.
Never.
I think that thinking about like how how things kind of change and stuff and things progress. And then like, so I'm a freaking old lady and I like Facebook better than I like Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But then you think about like Instagram models and like, even I follow freaking Meg the Stallion and
Why do you follow
because when
Meg?
we first started like getting our Patrick and Talisha page, I was like, oh, Meg the Stallion, sure, I'm gonna follow her. And so literally like every time I would get on Instagram, I'd have twerking videos, booties all up in my doggone thing,
booty butt shots.
and so
dog.
I was like, okay, well shoot, god darn, is this wonder what Patrick's Instagram looks like, because he's always on Instagram way more than me.
Yeah,
So it's like, then it feels, I think whenever you say like, oh, this hurts my wife, it's like, okay, is there a personal connection to this thing? Because that would hurt.
Yeah.
Like that would definitely hurt.
And I think for most, there's nothing. It's not personal. It's all like.
Well,
It's mostly like brain function.
But I remember you and your friend one time were like, oh, Misty, whatever her Stone or Misty Stone. Oh yeah. Oh, she bad.
And I am not a Misty Stone fan.
Well, you were then.
That's not. Nope.
You said it then. You did.
Don't even like that.
How do you think I remember?
I know.
I don't freaking know who she is.
Go ahead.
Shoot.
I never liked it.
Well, whatever. You lied then.
She's not even old enough.
Well, you lied
Go
then.
Go ahead.
And so
that's guys just talking. See, when dudes just be talking, and y'all be like, "Oh my god, that's so serious." Dudes just be talking.
Well.
Anyways, go ahead. But yeah, that's how you heard
talking.
that. No, that's what dudes do.
Because it definitely, affects us. It does. I said affects us, not affects y'all.
Okay. That makes perfect sense, sweetheart.
Whatever.
That makes absolute perfect sense. How us talking about like porn stars back in the day. This is not current.
Right. This is back in the day.
This is not current. It's like,
but it's still stuck with me.
It's like early 20s. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not like I don't know. It's like I love you, baby. I have nothing but desire for you, boo boo.
Right.
And it's like, hey, if you see a drop off, then you let me know, because I ain't seen no drop off yet. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no drop off in that. I try to make sure you keep up, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm anytime, anywhere, you dig?
You're silly.
You know what I'm saying? You see a drop off, you dig?
Oh my goodness, you're so silly. No drop off. No, you're fine. And like you said, because we communicated.
We do communicate.
And it was like, that is hurtful. And you changed.
Yeah, if you hide it in the dark, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
Even if you do watch porn all the time, jerk off all the time, tell your wife. It's just because it'll be like, yo, I'm not hiding it anymore or something like that. Because when you hide it, it just gets worse and darker and darker and darker and darker. Then you in a hole. And then it's like, I see so many posts like porn has ruined my marriage. It has just completely ruined my marriage. Because like I said, it's just like, sort of like marrying like a famous athlete who has gone through his like athlete phase. And he's been with all these women. And then he finally gets married and like, this one don't do it for me or something like that. Like, how can you and that's like real. That's like the body count and stuff. It's like, well,
right.
Shoot, how really do you? It ain't virtual. It's like legit.
Yeah,
like,
I can see that.
How can you compete with that or something like that? And it's just like, but if you do like, nah, that's not what I want. That would really stick in your head.
Oh yeah, I ain't about that life.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just me personally.
Yes.
And I think that I am territorial. You don't
say you territorial.
Shoot.
No, what? That's not like you. Extra caring.
Ask anybody that went to USC with us. Don't mess with Pat. Freaking Psycho Talisha come out.
Yeah, And everyone be like, well, Pat doesn't really do a
doesn't
goddamn.
do anything.
Pat doesn't do a goddamn. That's why it
He
makes you look so
doesn't
crazy.
do
You're like, oh,
anything.
she crazy. Pat don't do a goddamn thing.
Look.
And that's what. And that's why I always win the arguments. I was like, this is glorious. This is freaking,
Yeah, because
this is freaking incredible.
He doesn't do anything though, Talisha. And we're gonna keep it that way.
Yeah. I was like, I don't do anything. All right, cool. Yeah. Stalk me, track me. I don't care. Don't matter to me.
I did not stalk you.
You wanted to. Not really.
Not.
No, you didn't.
Lies.
Yeah,
No, I just had to let it be known. Look here. No.
All I wanted to do was make drinks.
I don't care. I know I was not to be disrespected.
Yeah. And I wasn't going nowhere, baby. Even though all the football players knew you by your nickname.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I ain't gonna tell that story though. But yeah, that's the double standard. That's the double standard I want to talk about. But we ain't gonna get into that on this episode.
You might as well
Yeah,
tell
no,
it.
I ain't gonna tell it. No,
Tell the story.
No, I'm not.
We
No,
need to endorse the person.
No, because he probably gonna be a famous politician. And I'm sure, but he saved my relationship.
Go
As far as I'm concerned, no, I'm not.
You can't give the people all this. And
No,
then not
find
tell
out
them.
next week, and we'll tell them next week. But until then, have we talked about porn enough on this episode?
I mean, shoot, we weren't even planning on going down this rabbit hole.
We're going to talk about how to have a healthy sex life in your marriage. Well, I guess hopefully you learn that if you just like watching porn all the time, you can't have a healthy sex life. It's just it will not long term. It'll be impossible.
Yeah.
You can't invite people in your bedroom like virtually or real life.
Definitely not real life.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they got swingers out there, but they're just not like as far as like the Christian life that we live.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So I just don't work like that because you'll just keep the flesh is never satisfied. You'll just keep going down the hole, man. Like God made those guardrails, sexual exclusivity for you to enjoy all you want. But if you go out, the reason they got guardrails on the highway is so that you don't go into on the highway, so you don't merge over to the other lane and hit oncoming traffic. The guardrails are there to keep you safe.
Right. Yeah, and to protect the covenant that you
Covenant
made.
of marriage, yeah.
Yeah. So, what else do we want to talk about? What does the Bible say about sex?
The Bible says you should have lots of sex within marriage, and He commands it. He commands that you do it. So you better go out there. I mean, you better command it. And then, all other episodes we'll get down to like high desire, low desire. That's one of my favorite topics to talk about. What goes on through those heads and how that can it can be frustrating and having like dead bedrooms and live bedrooms. Should you use toys? Can you use toys? Is that allowed? What's allowed in like a Christian marriage? How far are y'all trying to go? Like, whoa, no, you can't do that. This and that.
Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, we're talking about sex now. We're out there in these streets now. I think we're a real marriage podcast now, buddy.
We like Facebook official.
I think we're Facebook official. We done talked about everything but sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Be on the lookout for First Class Friday. On Friday, I'm going to drop y'all with some, I guess we're going to drop a porn sermon now, since that's where this conversation went. I guess I'm going to drop something about porn and marriage. So stay on the lookout for that. and we'll catch you guys on Friday, y'all. God bless.
God bless.
Thank you for listening to On the Up and Up with Patrick and Talisha. For access to all of our episodes, please subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you listen to our show. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, and we will give you a shout out on our next episode. Stay connected with us on Twitter and Instagram at I am Pat Ratliff and at the Farm D Mommy. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week. God bless.